Welcome to Shabbos Shoutout. Sacrifice and a willingness to undergo hardship for the right cause has long been a mark of Jewish greatness. Nowhere is the importance of sacrifice more evident than in this past week's Torah portion, Ze'ev. In the Parasha, Avraham is commanded by the Almighty to offer his only son, Isaac, on an altar. And in perhaps one of the more moving passages in the entirety of the Torah, Avraham is told at the Akedah, the binding of Isaac, the following: "Bring your son, your only one, the one you love, and bind him on an altar at Har HaMoriah, Mount Moriah." Over the years, over the millennia, how have the Jewish people been affected by Avraham's willingness to undergo sacrifice? The Russian Tsar Nicholas I, in his efforts to destroy Jewish life in the early 1800s, demanded that each Jewish community provide soldiers for his forces. These young men, called cantonists, were typically drafted at the age of 12 and served in the Russian army for 25 years. They didn't serve in the regular army, however, but in separate units under anti-Semitic officers. The Russian hope was that eventually they would join the Russian church. Ultimately, unfortunately, and tragically, many of these young Jewish men did lose their Jewish identity. Others were killed, and many took their lives rather than be baptized. It once happened during this period that there was a meeting in the city of St. Petersburg that took place with many rabbis, many of the great rabbis of the time. The meeting took place around the Yomim Noraim, the high holidays, and there was some speculation as to which rabbi would be given the honor of leading the Rosh Hashanah services. Right before the services were to begin, a group of cantonists walked into the shul and announced that one of them was going to be leading the services. A cantonist, a plain, ordinary Jew leading the services in the presence of these great rabbis? How could that be? Seeing the puzzled look on the faces of the rabbis, one of the cantonists lifted up his shirt, exposing his back. The flesh was a mass of scarred tissue, testifying to the many beatings that he endured for his Jewish faith. With no further discussion, the cantonist was given the honor of leading the services. The Torah, beginning with the portion of Lech Lecha, describes how Avraham's life was a series of hardships. What is the Torah teaching us through the stories of Avraham's physical and spiritual challenges? It's teaching us that life is a test. And in this test of life, we face two types of tests. One of those may be categorized as the big tests, the dramatic, the glorious, the defining moments in a person's life. However, there's another type of test. And these are the smaller tests that are the frequent small challenges that come our way day in and day out. These tests aren't glamorous. They don't make the headlines. But in certain respects, they're more telling and difficult than the big tests. Why? Because the small tests catch us off guard. And they occur with such frequency that we're often not aware that we're being tested. Life is a test. Let's go out and pass our tests, big and small. Good Shabbos.